Don't mind me. I can show you the world. Get the bottle in the water. I have found it. I found it. Yeah, my socks are soggy now. It's okay. I have the ability to stay dry when I go into this water. On my stream, I stay dry somehow. It's magic. I have a magical stream. Guys, I got a new dress. I'm wearing a dress. It's pretty. I bought it. I don't buy new things very often, but I had to replace some clothes. So I bought something. Yeah. It's long. It goes to my calves, right below my calves. Oh yeah? You should get that fixed then. I'm sure your urologist will help you on that. Urologists can be very nice. I have talked to a urologist before. Very nice people. They do their jobs well. Sometimes. Yep. So anyway, let's look at this right now and see what's in it. Yeah, nice outfit to swim in. That's right. You guys ready? I'm gonna shake it out. Oh, there are two in here. We're gonna answer one first, but there are two in this one. Sometimes we get two first in one. It's very exciting. So here we go. First, wait, hold on. Why is this? There we go. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, 2-for-1 deal, guys. This was a really good one. That means that I was able to get 2 messages. Again, if you want to ask a question, because I need more messages. I have 1 left after today's stream. I could give you advice for things maybe you're going through. Or maybe you just want to learn something and need help with it. Or maybe you just have some weird questions or some interesting questions about whatever, or an opinion, like you want to know what I think about something. Whatever, go ahead and ask, and I will do my best. And probably if I get questions today, one of them will probably be on next week's stream, because since I only have 1. Anyway, now let's get to the first question. Can you post your stream song playlist, please? I'm looking for the title of this one song that I heard in one of your streams. CJ. Well, CJ, you asked this maybe like a month ago, and I'm sorry it took a while to answer it, but here I am to explain to you, since you want to know my song playlist. Right now I'm using Pretzel, so it shows every song that I'm listening to, but there are a couple times a week or once a week that I listen to this particular playlist. So I'm going to show it to you. And I don't know if I'll be able to help you with the song that you're looking for at all, but I'll do my best to at least show you what I listen to when I'm streaming, because I do have a playlist for some of these things. Hey Corpse, how are you doing today? Oh, that is so cool to see, like Scooby-Doo with my arm. I love it. You like this song? That's for sure. How you doing today, Corpse? Yay, you downloaded Quake. Woo! You're my 20th downloader. I've had 20 people download the game. I hope that you will play it, enjoy it, and play with me at some point too. For now, I have to answer this question. So, right here is my Stream Safe Music playlist. It's 7 hours and 44 minutes long. Sometimes I start my playlist in random spots and then it will go through, and sometimes I start at the beginning. So, at the very beginning, yeah, there you go. I have Joliet 4 She's a streamer on Twitch. So she's on there. And then I have the Midnight. All of the Midnight's albums are on here. So look at this. All of the Midnight. All of the Midnight. So if you want to, I even have a remix version. So all of the Midnight. There are even Oh, yeah. Yes. There are instrumental versions of some of these albums too that I don't have on here. But you can find them. Then I have some chill hop. So this is Lo-Fi Hip Hop Study Beats Volume 2. Chill hop. And then more chill hop. Chill Beats and Instrumentals Volume 3. Chill Beat Instrumentals Volume 3. Then I have Lo-Fi Hip Hop Summer. Then I have Winter Music Study Beats. Then I have Lo-Fi Hip Hop Music to study to relax to. It's a little combination of things. Then I have Lo-Fi Hip Hop Beats 24/7. Then I have Vibes Lo-Fi Beat. Then I have this Heartbeat single. It's just a single. I don't know if that's the one you want. Then I have Sugar Lo-Fi Hip Hop Instrumentals. Chill Love
Hello
Beat.
there.
Hello. Hi, Menagerie.
Hello there.
So that's it. That's my playlist. Lots of chill hop. Lots of Midnight, the Midnight, and some Joliet 4. So I hope that answers your question and that you watch this stream to find out, since you said that it has to be from this playlist, because when I got this question, I had just been listening through all of these like throughout the week. So it's got to be one of these. I hope that answers your question. This was a quick answer to give you. Thank you for asking. Hello
there.
Yeah, exactly. The last song was really good. You were jamming to it. That's great. Maybe one in Spanish? Yeah, I don't have any ones in Spanish on here. You like songs with lyrics? Me too. I like songs. I do love classical music though. I like trance music, so never mind. But I love to sing with songs. I like to harmonize to songs. So I definitely prefer having lyrics in songs if possible, but I do not mind not having it. It's very soothing. I like soothing things. Okay, next question, because we got a twofer. Have you been to any electronic music festivals or shows? I don't think I have. Hello, Astro Nomad. Yeah, I love trance. I love trance music since I was a kid. I love electronic music in general. I love electronic music. Big time. Big time. So, trance, happy hardcore, stuff like that, I really like. So now let's do the next question, okay? And then we're going to go traveling. You'll never forget that sound? Yeah, I don't mind being a weirdo. That's fine. You like some dubstep? I like some dubstep. It's not like my choice, but I'll listen to it. What was your first electronic... Oh, putting a fork in this socket? You're silly. Okay, so the next question, guys. Hold on, though. All right.
Hello there.
Here we go. Should foreign languages be phased out of public school curricula? Very few end up using them, and new tech is solving language barriers. Maybe there are better options. anonymous. I'm going to have this where it just keeps scrolling the question so you guys could see it here and there.
Hello there.
Miss Serenity, hello, I'm doing well. I'm answering questions. I just got a message in a bottle. I got a 2-for-1. So I answered one question very quickly. It wasn't like an elaborate thing to have to answer, where someone wanted to know my playlist because I did play, and sometimes I do play a playlist. So anyway, I shared that. And now I'm answering this question about foreign languages being phased out of public school curricula or not. So this is going to be a discussion that we could have together. A band called Fork Socket? Is there really? Are you pulling my leg on that? Yeah, Sonic? I'm pretty gullible, so if you tell me that, I'll have to check into it to make sure. Because I'll be like, oh, really? Okay. And then I'm like, wait a second. Let me see. Okay. I figured. So I want to explain why I like foreign languages. I didn't take a language in high school, and I wish I did. Because I didn't go to college, so they told me I had to make up a class in 10th grade. And I don't know, like I said to the guidance counselors, can I do this class instead because I'm not going to college? And then, years later, I was like, that was really dumb. I should have taken a language. But it's all right. I love learning. So that's why it's so weird that I didn't take a language or want to. I agree. Marque Macaluso. So I love foreign languages. Just the idea of people and their culture and hearing them speak in different languages. Here in New Jersey especially, and you understand this, bro. Where we are, we hear languages from different cultures all over the place. I hear it. Like when I'm out, I hear people speaking in Russian. I hear people speaking in Urdu. I hear people speaking in Spanish, in Polish, in Korean. I just hear all of these sort of languages around me. Here in New Jersey, we have such a huge melting pot, and so I just love that. Your foreign language is English. That is true, Angel. Exactly. Oh, really? Determines the way they process information. Yeah, Bachtown. So Bachtown does not live in the States either, so English is not his first language. So the fact that you learned it is why you're able to be here communicating with us today. It's a good exercise of the mind. Technology isn't at the point yet where we don't have to bother learning languages. I think a lot of the people in here speak more than one language actually. And I can understand bits and pieces of certain languages. Like I could read some languages too. And I've always been able to soak things up really easily, but I've never stuck with things or been like hardcore about learning language, and I really am sad about that because I want to know every language. I would love it. Yes, that's true too. So if you're able to learn more than like 2 languages, you could probably learn other languages pretty easily. How many languages do you speak, Bachtown? Yeah. I think writing languages is way more difficult than learning how to speak them. So I really wish that I knew foreign languages. So to answer this question in the positive form mainly, I will say that if I were to learn other languages, I could speak with people in other countries, and that would be really fun, especially because I met people from different places. So imagine I could have a conversation in Danish with Bachtown. That would be really cool. It's a hard language. So that would be really neat to just be like, oh yeah, I know that language, and I could start speaking it. Bro says that removal of language is the first step to mind control. If you don't have words to express your thoughts, then it is harder to understand them, and they can be invalidated by others. Like Brave New World. You speak 2 fluently, but you could decipher 2 or 3 more in writing. Yeah, that is so cool. That's very neat. So I've looked into some various thoughts and ideas to get cons on this situation. So because of the fact that they wanted to know if they should be phased out from public school in general, because they think maybe there are better options. So a lot of people who ask for translators want them to be actually from that country. So if I were to learn fluently Japanese, so the fact that like I know a small percentage of Japanese, if I were to learn it completely fluently, people would still not want to hire me because I'm not from Japan, and it's just easier and better to get someone that knows fluently a language that are like of that culture, that people hire those more rather than someone who learned the language. I hope that makes sense. So when I did some research, that's what I found. So translator situations that I know about, I know someone who's a translator that they speak 4 languages, and they live in a country where they translate for 2 of those languages. So, and it's not their home country. So they speak this other language fluently on a regular basis, but they translate in 2 other languages for that country. And one of them is their home native tongue. So they're able to translate 3 languages while they're there, and they were learning a 4th one because they wanted to go to this other country first. So they learned this other language before they went to the country that they are working at. So anyway, this country where they work wanted someone from the country she was born in to be a translator. So that's why she moved there. So that's what I mean. It's like sometimes they could work with someone directly rather than bringing them into their country. But she definitely is an example of this, where they didn't want to find a person from the country where she is working to learn the language where she was born. They wanted someone born in the country that she came from and knows the language natively to come in to translate. So that's interesting. Yeah, Bachtown, you get it. I've done Rosetta Stone. I use Duolingo. I have used italki, where I've actually had a teacher try to teach me, and that I like a lot, actually. So I've used 3 different things. I also used discs and audiobooks. So like I've done audiobooks for 3 different languages where I just say the words and the sentences they want to tell you. But the problem is that I don't get practice because I don't know people that spoke those languages that I was trying to take those courses in. So I was like, what can I do with this? So I stopped doing the audiobooks for those. It was Hebrew, Hindi, and German that I was learning that. But I do know German speakers, and I was interacting with them, and they helped me a lot. But what I learned, I don't really know that well. I can read it and understand parts of German, though. But I can't really speak it. I can read and understand, but not really speak it. Like some things I can. So it depends. So now, another con that goes why maybe this should be phased out of public school is that people don't always hold conversations with those who speak the languages that they learn in public schools. So they're going to lose it. So if people learn Italian in school or French, like Rob said, he learned French in high school for 2 years, but he doesn't know any people that speak French. So he couldn't continue with that. So it's died out. Like he understands, he still remembers some of it, but he hasn't really retained much of it. So you got to find people. So when you learn Spanish here in New Jersey, it's very, very helpful. And that's why we both wish that we took Spanish, because there are Spanish speaking people all over the place in New Jersey. So it would have been very helpful. You spoke English every day for a few years because your coworker from Spain did not speak Danish. You discovered that when on vacation, there's a huge difference between professional conversations and normal social interactions. Yeah, that's true. It makes sense. Oh yeah, Sonic. Yeah, I've definitely seen stuff like that too. Instances where people work at restaurants that are not of that culture. Like I know, for instance, there's a Japanese restaurant near me where the owners are Korean. They don't speak Japanese. They speak Korean, but they make Japanese food. So there's that too. Oh, man. I wish my school had taught that. My school only taught French and Spanish. You've forgotten it all since. Yeah, that's sad. And I have 2 friends that took Japanese in college, and one of them worked at a Japanese restaurant to further learn it. And she does not remember it at all anymore either. Pepperwinkle, your dad learned German for his work trips in the paper industry. He was very good at the technical talk, but not so much everyday talk. Wow, but it's better now. Miss Serenity, you haven't used French in real situations. Should be swapped with sign language. Many situations. See, the problem with sign language is in different countries, they have different sign language. There's American Sign Language, then there's sign language in different countries that they have different ways of saying things. So there's that situation too. I know someone that works for a school for the blind, and she's fluent in American Sign Language. And it's very... She can't talk to people in other countries in sign language. She's told me that. Your school either put you in Spanish or French if you didn't get to choose. Mandarin, wow. That's interesting that they don't teach Mandarin, even though there are a lot of people around there that speak fluent Mandarin. Oh, that's cool to record your own voice saying the words, and oh, wow, that's pretty neat. I like that, Astral Nomad. That's pretty cool. So another thing is most people around the world are learning English. So this is proof. We have a bunch of people that speak English that it's not their first language. Here in chat. So a lot of people around the world are learning English. So here in American schools, they're saying we could phase out public schools learning other languages because everyone else is learning English. But I still think that's not cool, because we should not be like, well, you should just learn English. Like, obviously, if I'm an English speaker, I want to have someone in my chat that's speaking English so I don't have to do Google Translate. But, like, it would be great if I could speak fluently in another language and not just expect others to do my bidding. Like, well, I'm an English speaker, so you should speak English too. Like, why should other countries learn English, but I not learn other languages? You know? So that's just what... Yeah, like Angel sometimes will speak in Spanish in chats. And there are some things that I like...
Hello there.
Some things that I might know. Other things I'm like, I have to look that up. Yeah, I met a woman and had great conversations with her when my boys did ballet. We used to talk. She was born in Germany, married a man from Shanghai. And I think she said he spoke Shanghainese. And I was like, wait, they have their own language? She's like, yes. I was like, that is so... I had no idea. It was something like that. And I was like, never knew. I just thought there was Cantonese and Mandarin. She's like, no, he speaks Shanghainese. And so she learned it. And he learned German, and they both speak English too. And so she was telling me all that. It was so fascinating to listen to her explain like their different cultures and how they met and everything. So, but she says that not many people speak Shanghainese, that it was kind of like a waste for her to learn because they didn't go visit his family very often. She says she wishes she knew Mandarin instead. And her husband didn't know Mandarin. And I thought that was weird. I was like, really? I just figured. So. Culture canceling. Yeah. Okay. Wiping out culture without wiping out people. That's true. English is a world language, yeah. That's true. Like common in Dungeons and Dragons, yeah. So I think it is good that we're able to have a common language so I can communicate. So I could talk to Pepperwinkle and not be like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, we can't talk. Like, sorry. So I like the fact that I could communicate with her rather than like Well, I saw this person. Now I got to know her because she could speak English. But it would be great if I could speak in Swedish. That would be awesome. Then I could maybe talk to her in both Swedish and English, and that would be cool. So, again, even though maybe there are language barriers or whatever, we have the ability now to interact more with people around the world that I think it is useful for us to not phase out public school curricula of having languages taught because of situations like this. Esperanto? I don't know. What is this? I must have missed something. Astronomad, yeah, that's like, so I have a pen pal. She knows Old German. And she says not many people know Old German. She can write in Old German. So she's shown me what each of those look like. And that they're kind of phasing that out too. And she's like, they're missing out on the culture, but at the same time, people don't want to learn Old German because they associate it now with like bad stuff from the past. So like, it was kind of sad in a way though, because that's a language that she was raised with. And now they're like, nah, we don't need it anymore. I guess it's kind of like Old English that's phased out. Like we still have texts with it, but no one speaks in Old English, you know? Some small parts of Finland and Norway speak Swedish, but you don't see it as a use. But it's still interesting to know that you know how to interact with people born there. I don't know. What do I think of new generations who create words or phrases for fashion or have their own language? So like I know the language of Av and some gibberish. So like Av, you just say like Av after everything. So like if I say happy birthday, it's Hava Pavi Bavrtdave. That's Av. You say Hava Lavo, Hava Rava Yavu. So like you say Av in between different guys, it sounds really funny. I'm so sorry. And Pig Latin, I'm really bad at it. Like, I can understand it, but I'm really bad at speaking it. But I tried it in the past. But Av, I can speak fluently in Av, but it's basically English with Av, like, in between things. So it just makes English longer. So I said, how are you is Hava Avar Yavu. So, like, that's not a real language. Why do I know this thing? It's so weird. I picked it up because there was a group of girls that I was around. Like, they were trying to have this secret Av language they would talk to each other. There's even Op, which is like Av, but OP instead. And so they were talking to each other. And then one day I went up to them and I started speaking in Av. And they're like, you've been knowing what we've been saying this whole time? Like, yeah, you were basically speaking in English. They're like, they were so like, we were saying things that we shouldn't have said out loud. Esperanto is a most widely spoken, constructed, internationally auxiliary language. I don't understand though, like, what's that mean? What does that mean? That's a slap in the face if you catch a kid speaking like that. Yeah, see, and I wish that here in the US, I wish that we taught languages younger. Like, 4-year-olds should be taught Spanish. 3-year-olds should be taught Spanish, not 14-year-olds starting to learn a language. And that's what we do. We start at 14 to teach languages here. Gherkin, a Gurgan? Yeah, I don't know that. You can talk to demons? Hey, Al! It was an art project basically to try and enable people of different cultures to communicate.
Hello there.
So like if I read this is how I would say this in Av. Shavat Favararan Lavum Guavajevas Bave Faves Avot Avapavavlavik Skavul. So I'm saying it really slowly for you guys because it's like a tongue twister otherwise. Cover lava. Oh man, that's a hard word. Basically, it's the syllables between like vowels and Ys. So Vavaravi, Fjavu, Avend, Ava using, Ava Uvi Zaving, Vavam, Avan Navud, Tavak, Avis Salvaving, Loving Ravage, Bava. So this is just weird things that people come up with in the US when they should just be learning actual languages. I don't know, guys. It's too long. It's like, let's just extend English and create this weird thing. That's the weird version. Yeah, it's hard. But it's just English, just with extra things.
Hello there.
You have something like that in Swedish? That's cool. So, and Pig Latin is like with iniga. So it's like, and I can't remember how it goes. I have to hear it first to figure it out. But you say iniga instead of av, like niga. But it's like they take apart a word. I don't remember now. I love the word woot. I remember I started to say woot. Thank you, Rafabner, for your follow. So, woot, I remember that was starting in like 2002 or whatever, and I used it. I was like, I love this thing, woot. I said it all the time. Religious studies were useless, so I really love learning about different religions just to understand why people might believe a certain thing, and I find that very fascinating. So I have studied a lot of those. You don't mind new words? That's good. And Pepperwinkle, you're very good at learning languages and understanding things. Yeah, you move the end of the word to the beginning as well with iniga. It's very odd. Yeah, Sonic, I've mentioned that before, that I did not really learn about African and Asian cultures. It was mainly, we learned about England, the explorers, World War II, Native American history, and US history. And that was like it in school. Astral Nomad, these things happen. People have, the word groovy. It's a hip happening thing. It's just part of having, you could speak in jive if you want to. Just let people, if they want to speak in those ways, just let them be. Let them enjoy it. They're having a good time. So if I want to say woot, I'm having a good time, You barely learn about Native Americans, same. I had to do a study in 4th grade, though, on them. And that was great. But I mainly only learned about the Cherokee. And the Lenni Lenape, who were in New Jersey. And the Iroquois. And that's like it. It wouldn't have been bad if you learn about other... I understand, Miss Serenity. I went to a Christian Reform school through 9th grade. So I understand. I get it. And then I went to public school. Yeah, because they definitely did not teach about lots of different religions back then. And I would have enjoyed learning. Like now I've learned about all those type of things on my own. But yeah, it's very, this is what you have to learn and what you have to know to be here, to go to this school. We have to indoctrinate you in this way. But that's a whole nother topic that I don't want to get into. So anyway, people are now hiring more locally in other countries too. So like if I needed someone for like, if I had a job that I needed someone to speak in Mandarin or something like that, I'd be like, okay, let's contact this company or an extension of our company that speaks Mandarin, and we'll have them talk to this person over here rather than hiring someone that learned Mandarin here. So it's kind of like what I mentioned before, a little bit different. Yeah, World War II took up loads and loads of years of study in my schools that I went to. I think I learned like four years worth of World War II studies, definitely. It was a big deal. We learned about Vietnam War 1 year. And it would be like the entire year, that's all that we learned about, is this war. And I'm like, you know, there are other things. I want to learn about the cultures. That's why I do these. Like, this is why I like doing these voyages that I go on with you guys when we go sailing off, trying to explore different places, because it's very fascinating to me to learn about different cultures. So we get to learn together. Blue Velvet, hello! How are you doing? Right now we're talking about foreign languages. There's the question right there. I have it scrolling so people that come in and out can see what it is. But we're talking about languages and if people should speak them or not in public school, if they should learn. And I think they should continue to learn them, because even if you forget it, if you forget, it's your own fault for not continuing your study. So for instance, my one brother, he took Spanish in middle school. When he was in 7th grade, he started taking Spanish. He took it all throughout high school. Then he got a job where they were mainly Spanish-speaking people. So he's fluent in Spanish, completely fluent. I don't know like hardly any, but he's completely fluent. And then he tells me he doesn't really speak it that well, but he's got friends that are Colombian. He's got friends that are like from all over different Latin American countries that he speaks to in Spanish. Or like he'll speak in English with them, but then he'll speak in Spanish to them too. So like he's fluent, and it's because he learned it in public school. He would not have learned that on his own. So I think that there are definitely the duds where it's like, okay, I'm just going to take this language to pass high school. Yes, there's going to be people that do that. But then there are the people that they're like, this is great. I really like this. I want to continue in this. I'm going to keep talking to people from other countries that speak this language, and I'm going to continue. And he's an example of that. And I know other people who are examples of that too. So that's what I had to say on this. Are there better options? That's what they said. Maybe there are better options. Are there better options? Yes, I think we should start teaching kids younger in school. And maybe see even the demographics of a different place. So here in New Jersey, hey Addie, here in New Jersey, the demographics would be like, we have a lot of Spanish speaking people, and that's like the main. So definitely I think Spanish should be required to learn when you're young, really young, in schools with English. I think that would be great. So then you just have to figure out how to rearrange classes so that they can learn both English and Spanish, something like that. So that way the people, because like there are so many people that are immigrants here from different Latin American and Spain, different countries. Like I went to school with loads of people that were Spanish speaking people, and they took Spanish class because it was easy for them. There's that issue too, which was like really interesting to be like, they could just like breeze by. It's not fair. But I do think that it should be good, because then they could help the people in the class. So like back then I was like, that's not fair. They speak it already. But they could help the people learning it for the first time in the class to be like, how do I say this? And they'd be like, oh yeah, So I think that's great. That's just my thoughts on this. Blue Velvet, how are you doing? How have you been? Let me see what Pepper said. You learn about Swedish history 1 year and you don't even remember that much. Wow. You learn about World War I. I did learn about World War I, but it was like half or like a quarter. It was a quarter, and then the rest was World War II, and then like maybe a little bit of Vietnam. And that was it. Like we learned about the Revolutionary War in elementary school. In 4th grade, I remember learning, because then we went to Washington's headquarters here in New Jersey. So we learn all about that, because New Jersey is the 3rd colony. So we have a lot of Revolutionary War history here. So we were taught about that.
Hello there.
Your primary school bullied you out of your original accent? That's so sad, Miss Serenity. I'm sorry you went through that. There are a lot of Spanish speakers that don't know how to speak it correctly, so the classes help. That's good, Addie. That's a good way to look at it, too. You had a home language for people so that they wouldn't lose their own language. That is really nice. I love learning history. This is why also that I do this. You weren't able to communicate with some relatives because you didn't learn Spanish when you were young? Aw. Yeah. So it's like my dad, his grandfather was born in France. His grandfather's father was born in like Switzerland or Germany. We don't really know. One of those. But anyway, so his grandfather was half Swiss German and half French. And so my dad was raised by his grandfather who spoke French. So my dad spoke French. My dad never passed it on to me. He would say words to me, bits and pieces here and there, but because he was no longer talking to his grandfather in French, he had no use for it. So he had no one else to speak French to. So I didn't get to learn French because my dad never tried to teach me like properly any of it. And I didn't take French in school. So that was lost. And I'm like 50 different nationalities. So I don't have like, I love when I hear people are like half one thing and half another thing. I love hearing that. I'm like, that is so cool. Do you know the language? And then like I hear like a parent say, well, I'm not really teaching them the language. I was like, why not? Don't do that. Like, it's so great. Pass on your languages to your children. It's wonderful. Okay? I wish that I had, like, my family's been here in New Jersey for so many centuries now, for like 3 centuries, that it's like, we don't have a language. It's just English. And I want to know. I don't. Anyway. Yeah, I've met a lot of people where when they came to America, they're like, you're going to learn English and that's it. I know so many stories. I've heard it many, many times from people. And it's sad. You're out. Where are you going, Astronomad? I'll miss you. Bye-bye. You got bullied out of your Eastern Canadian accent when growing up in Western Canada? I'm sorry. Ooh, Timbuktu. That's cool. But yeah, so Blue Velvet, that's really sad. So you don't know any Spanish, but your family speaks it? Does that bother you, or are you okay with it? Because, like, I know some people where they're like, I don't want to know the language. And then other people are like, I wish I knew the language, you know? So everyone's different. Your grandma had similar thoughts? Yeah. Well, this has been a great discussion, guys. Yeah. I had Scottish and Dutch settlers in the 1600s came over here, and English settlers in my family. Like I said, I'm a lot of nationalities, so those people all came here in the 1600s. The Scottish, the English, and the Dutch part of me. 1600s. So, yeah, and then I think that's why I think that's why I don't have a New Jersey accent, because a lot of people say I say things differently than a lot of people that have supposedly a New Jersey accent. And I think it's because we've just been here so long that we've lost an accent. But I know like people that are 2nd, 3rd generation New Jerseyan.
Hello there.
Like where their family moved here only like 1 or 2 or 3 generations ago, they have a New Jersey accent. So I just find that interesting, like that I don't have one, but some people have like craziness with it. My dad has, because my dad is like second generation born here, he has a New Jersey accent with certain words he says, but I don't. I say things differently. So my mom, she's the one that has like loads and loads of like distant, it's her family that came here in like the 1600s. So therefore it's her side of the family where we lost having an accent. Anyway, Getting rid of language learning would be detrimental. Yeah. Paying artist knows so many languages. Addie, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Angel. That is so nice. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Learn languages with Peng. Peng, you'll teach me sarcasm? But Peng, you do know a lot of languages, and I think that's awesome.